So hi, as I promised that I'll develop series of sessions on corporate actions. So last time we discussed about what is corporate action, what is the purpose of corporate actions, or why companies announce series of corporate actions, right? So we discussed that portion with regards to that session. So today would be our second session on merger and acquisitions. Why companies announce merger and acquisitions? What are the different types, recent mergers that we're going to discuss about? So I would say just be here, and if you like this initiative, then share this with others as well. Let them also learn from our the efforts, whatever efforts that we are putting to develop the content and all. Okay, so I'll take you ahead and we'll discuss what is merger. Merger, it means, guys, try to understand it. I'll simplify, right? There are two different businesses. Let's say business A and business B. The two businesses of similar size and scale of operations, if they combine into one new company, then that institutions we can call it as merger. So for example, let's say there is a one A company, if A company want to merge with B from a similar domain or from a similar, similar business size, similar business operations, right? A company, if want to merge with B and B also want to merge with A, so it means both are willing to merge with each other. Try to understand this. Both companies A and B, they are willing to merge with each other, and after that they are ready to form A and B public limited or private limited, whatsoever it is, right? So both companies will come together and they'll form A and B. So it means another company. So that company we call it as merger company. For example, Idea, that you know, right? Idea and Vodafone, same example that you can say. Vodafone, right? Idea and Vodafone. So those companies comes together, and now we have Idea Vodafone. Idea and Vodafone, right? So now we have these two, Idea and Vodafone. So in so simple. So when two companies come together, they form the another institution. So that institutions or that process we call it here as merger and acquisition. So Vodafone and Idea, the same example you can see, and now we have Idea and Vodafone where they have formed the Idea and Vodafone another company, right? So even though if you see Vodafone Idea shares which are also listed on stock exchange, correct? So that way, why they form merger? Because both companies, they were from same domain, telecommunication. The Idea was also into the same, the Airtel was also into the same domain. So they wanted to capture the major portion of a market from the same, product line, that is telecommunication, right? Selling data or telecommunication services to the users. They wanted to do the business in that segment, so they formed the another entity. So they merge their assets, liabilities, revenue, everything, operations, resources, everything, means everything, and they form another institution, that is Vodafone Idea or Idea Vodafone. So that's how merger executed. And what about acquisitions? What about acquisitions? So in short, when we say acquisitions, one business buys another business, often smaller business, right? One business buys another business. For example, So if I say Tata company buys the Jaguar brand, right? So buy Jaguar brand. So that business you can call it as what you can call acquisition. So one institution acquire to the other business. Why they acquire? There would be different purposes. Why they merge with that particular institutions? There would be different purposes. But for an interview purpose, you may expect questions. So you should always put live or recent examples in your answer or while answering to the questions what I believe. If you ask me what do you know about merger and acquisition, first of all I brief that merger it means two businesses of a similar size and scales or operations, they come together or combine their all capabilities and they form new company. So that event we call it as a mergers. And acquisitions kind of one business want to buy the another business, often the small business from the same segment or it can be from a different segment. So that activity or event we call it as acquisitions. So example from merger side, Idea and Vodafone, so that we can take it as a merger, right? And acquisitions, Tata, let's say acquired Jaguar, Tata acquired Land Rover, Tata acquired food, Tata acquired even the government, the airlines, right? Nationalized airlines, Tata acquired to that. So if you see, those would be the mergers, acquisition events, right? So that's the difference between merger and acquisitions. If you ask me, so if how you can brief it again. So a company, understand this, a company about acquisition, a company want to acquire to the B from a similar business line, okay? From a similar business line, want to acquire to the similar business line, and after that, so a company can see business in this case, acquisition case, that doesn't make sense to change the name. Only a company will operate the business functions, operations, everything. So it will merge into it. It's an acquisition, right? So it will the original business or main business will acquire the stake from the that particular acquiring company, around 50% stake or depends on the percentage or agreement. So that will be acquired and then business will run it out. So that's how they manage their business operations and they execute the merger and acquisition deal. I'll take you ahead. So I have few examples that I wanted to show you. So here if you see merger and acquisition, so simply again I brief about so how the merger and the acquisition you can explain. A company which is acquiring company, B company which is again acquired company, merger of a company A and company B. This merger retains the name of an acquiring company here. Acquiring company is A. So who is acquiring to which company? So they can form the name of that particular company as well, right? So that depends. They can form other entity or else they can keep the original who is acquiring to which company. So that company name also that you can keep it. So that also happened in a merger and acquisition. Okay, so there are two types of mergers. One is vertical merger and another one is horizontal merger. Vertical merger, it means if I take the example of company where let's say the company is from XYZ limited company is a textile manufacturer. So this company is a textile manufacturer, correct? And since many years ago, XYZ Limited and ABC Limited decide to merge their businesses. So we can see that both the business entities are involved in the different stages of the production process. So one is textile company and another one is cotton supplier. See, textile company required cotton. Vertical, if you see that cotton is also comes under the textile, correct? Textile companies, cotton companies or cotton suppliers companies, their main core business is to supply the cotton to the textile industries or companies, and textile companies manufacturer is kind of they want the cotton supplier to produce the cotton. Try to understand this, and that's what it comes under the same vertical. It comes under the same vertical. And if you hire, let's say you are at XYZ Limited, so if you want to hire that company, you can hire the cotton supplier company, so which comes under your vertical, right? So that merger we can call it as vertical merger, right? Vertical merger. And if I take the example of horizontal merger, merger company brings, right, merger company of two or more businesses that offer similar product or services and work in the same industry. So Idea and Vodafone, or Tata Airlines, or nationalized that Airlines of India, or Indian Airlines. If you see that merger, those mergers you can call it as horizontal merger, because those means all companies, Indian Airlines or Tata Airlines, they are from same business lines. They offer same sort of services or products to the customers. So that merger would be your horizontal merger. So you might expect question like what are the different types of mergers that you would see, then you should know it, right? So vertical merger, it means, so from a same, it's not the company which is not in a same business line, but that company provides raw material or other products to the main company, and that's what that company wanted to acquire to that sub company. So that's how you can link. So other things, so here again another example about vertical merger. So if you see it from the here, right? Main company is meat industries is here, purchase companies at all levels of production. So if you see cattle, so maybe there would be one company who is preserve or protect the cattle, or they actually have a cattle business, correct? They provide cattle to slaughterhouse. They provide input to the refrigerated rail road cars or transport, or maybe cooled warehouses, or meat packaging plants, or delivery wagons, right? So you would see at a different stage, so might be there would be one company, let's say A company is working here, B company is working here, C company is working here, D company is working here, E company is working here, right? F company is working here, and finally here is Ace Meat Industries. So this Ace Meat Industries can acquire to all the other businesses which comes under their vertical, right? Which comes under their vertical. So if you see such merger, or if you see such event or activity, then you can call it as that merger as a vertical merger, right? Because those wouldn't be from the same business line, it will be from the same vertical, because the transport or warehouse, cold warehouse, all that companies, they work for Ace Industries. They provide input or material or raw material or whatever input is required, they provide to the Ace Meat Industry. So that's the difference. So that's how you can differentiate the all inputs and all. And horizontal, it means, again I just want to reiterate it, independent oil refineries. So they can, let's say, A company, B company, C company, or D company. So they all come together, and they can form the one US oil company, means main company, let's say XYZ, that they can form, correct? So if you see this type of mergers, then that would be your horizontal merger, because most of the companies are from the same business line, right? Most of the companies are from the same business line. So that's how you can link vertical merger and horizontal merger. Okay, so another topic which is very important one about acquisition. So we discussed little bit about acquisition, but I just want to independently the discuss about acquisition part. Here if you see A company, means buying company, want to buy the target company, let's say B company, and here they can form company. After acquisition, they can form new company, right? They can form new company. Acquisition period that is required around 4 to 6 months or longer than that to execute this deal. And after that, so company can buying company obtains more than 50% ownership in a target company, and that's how they can acquire to the the targeted companies. Why companies acquire to the targeted companies? I'll give one example. Let's say GMT is in edutech business, right? And there are big companies like Byju's or Great Lakes. Those are also in similar business line. What if the Byju's want to again acquire the GMT Academy? Because GMT Academy is a small firm which are into the edutech space, and let's say GMT has a potential to deliver service to its clients, then that Byju's can target to acquire the GMT Academy, and if they acquire, then they form acquisition, right, where they can officially claim the 50% or 60% holdings in GMT Academy. So that's how they can execute the acquisition deals. So I have few examples. So we had just hold for some time so we can discuss those as well. So here, if you see, we have a few examples from a the Tata Group side. We have the examples where Tata acquired Land Rover, Tata acquired Jaguar, Tata acquired Ford, right? So these are the recent acquisitions. If you see, Tata acquired these businesses, right? And from a fintech side also, that we have few examples where FIS acquired WorldPay, FIS FIS serve that acquired First Data, right? Visa card acquired Plate, Mastercard acquired Nets, PayPal acquired iZettle. So there are many more BlackRock acquired eFront, right? So those are the companies which has been acquired by the big shark, right? FIS is also big shark. They acquired WorldPay. So that's how you would see. So companies where they acquired targeted companies, right? They acquired targeted companies to capture the market, to capture the business operations, to capture the it can be the target segments and all. So that's how they comes with the acquisition part. And what about the banking mergers? So recent in a banking sector, that we have a few developments where Indian Bank and Allahabad Bank, so they merge with each other. The PNB and Oriental Commerce Bank, they merge with each other. Then Canara Bank and Syndicate Bank, they have a merger. Union Bank and Andhra and the Commerce Bank something, so that we have a merger, right? So those are the mergers, so which you should know it. So what are the mergers and all, and how it works? Okay. So and apart from that, we have also few companies. So you might see those been acquired by some other sharks. But here just wanted to brief you about the Apple. If you see top acquisitions by Apple, so Next Computer, Parsemi, Anobit, right? Beat Electronics, those been acquired by the Apple, correct? And those are kind of, if you see the values and all, so those are very important to see. So always big shark keep eye on small companies, and they target the companies and they acquired it. So we have a big companies where Google, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, they always target the companies and they try to acquire it, right? They try to acquire it, and that's how they target the brands and they acquired. If you see, Facebook acquired Insta, Facebook acquired WhatsApp, Facebook acquired then the other brands as well, right? Small brands. So they target the companies, they acquire it because they want to be a leader in that particular sector. So where they can protect to their margin, profit, and shares everything. That's what they try. And even the purpose of the merger and acquisition is to try to create monopoly on that particular segment or in that particular area. So that's what they try to be a part of, try to be a leader of that particular industry or sector through the merger and acquisition. And we have a few examples where since 2009 that we have few mergers, popular mergers or acquisition events. Facebook, as I said, Insta, WhatsApp that acquired, right? Then Periscope, but the Twitter that acquired Periscope and Vine. Then The big one that I'm just want to brief it out. Amazon were acquired Zappos and Twitch. Google, Vaz and Nest. Alibaba Group, UCB Web. Right, Mint.com, INTUIT, that company acquired. Microsoft, Mojang, that acquired. Then LinkedIn, that Lynda.com, that they acquired. So those are the major developments which you would say across industry, from a banking or fintech, or maybe from manufacturing and other space. So that you would see, right? So those are the major developments, or in the segment of merger and acquisitions. Okay, so mergers, it means merging of two companies. Just I want to summarize: merger of two companies into one. It's a mutual decision, so it means mutually companies come together. Merger would be expensive, and dilution of the ownership. So dilution of the ownership would be in across two companies, where they will have to dilute the ownership of company, that their securities and all. That's how merger will executed. And acquisition, it means buying one company by another. It can be either friendly or hostile takeover. Hostile, it means forcefully acquire the company. So that event we call it as acquisition. And then acquisition is less expensive when you compare with the mergers, and the acquirer does not experience the dilution of the company. So acquirer don't need to that dilute the stake in company. Eventually they acquire the stake. So that's how we call it as acquisition. Okay, so I hope this presentation, or this session, that help you to understand the difference between merger and acquisitions. So when you see any question as such, you should always highlight practical examples. So in that way you can highlight. And if you still want to know, like how you can prepare for a corporate action interview, or maybe if you see any question on corporate action as such, so you should try to explain each and everything with the examples. If you don't have examples, then you cannot. So as simple as that. So you should always try to put a practical examples, what I believe, that will like more impactful. Okay. And if you are looking for any trainings for how the corporate action, merger corporate action works, or how the acquisition corporate action works in process, if you're looking for those, if you're looking for those content, then I would say you can join our course. So we offer 10 sessions for 2 months, where we discuss corporate action, process flow of corporate actions, types of corporate actions, election management, instructions, event setup, payment processing, break resolution, interview, and resume preparations. That all topics we covered. If you're looking for a training as such, then you can call to this number, or check the link in description to understand the corporate action. So corporate action is also one of the highly or demanding or critical process, where you can establish your career. So you would plan for it if you want, or just give a call to discuss more and enroll for those courses. We'll see you in next session with another topic, that would be like stock split, that we're going to discuss about. So stay there. If you like this initiative, then subscribe to this channel and forward this content.